Church and convener of the Faith Nurture Forum. Tonight I'm bringing sections 4 to 13 of the Faith Nurture Forum Deliverance, dealing with changes to legislation. And we're going to take this in sections to do with topic, subject. So from our report at section 4.2 and the Deliverance, sections 4 and 5, we're dealing with changes to the appeals framework. Applicants for ministries attend an assessment conference where an accept or non-accept decision is made. Currently, an appeal against a non-accept decision goes to a committee review. That decision can be appealed and taken to the ministry's appeal panel. So this change to the legislation removes the committee review. Instead, the appeal will be held only by the ministry's appeal panel. And this provides a consistency of approach across the board and reduces unnecessary layers of appeal. Having been accepted by an assessment conference, a prospective candidate must then be nominated by their presbytery. If nomination is refused, an appeal could be made to a commission of assembly. This appeal will now be made to the ministry's appeal panel. So we're looking at section 4, revisions to the Selection and Training for Full-Time Ministries Act, Act 10, 2004, and section 5, revisions to the Ordained Local Ministry Act, Act 9, 2011.
Apologies, we were just caught up in some of those technical matters that I referred to. Can you just back up a moment, please?
Absolutely. We're looking to approve sections 4 and 5, dealing with amendments to the changes to the appeals framework.
Thank you. Clerk, are we going to deal with those now?
Yes, I think that was the plan, Moderator.
Yeah.
What we're waiting for is the system to upload the Faith Nurture Forum report rather than Legal Questions Committee report. And then we can click Current Live Debate again, and we'll see the sections of Faith Nurture, and we can deal with the little bits and pieces down this list.
Thank you, Clerk, and thank you, Rosie. Apologies.
No, that's okay.
I think, too, Moderator, tonight we should probably do one, receive the report.
Yes.
Then it's before us. Otherwise, we shouldn't really discuss it.
Okay.
So again, to explain, we're just waiting for our screens to refresh and bring up the Faith Nurture Forum report.
It's there now. There we are.
One of the intricacies is that some of us here have it and others don't, but I think we've got enough to go on with. So we're going to receive the report first of all, and therefore I will pause for questions. Okay, so receive the report. Invite you to vote accordingly. Voting is open here to receive the report. I declare it to have carried now, as the convener indicated. We move now to number 4. Again, other matters will be brought up tomorrow. Number 4, as in the print. Questions, again, always in order. I see no questions, nobody desiring to speak, and so I'll ask that the vote be opened on number 4. I declare it to carry. Number 5. Voting open. I declare 5 to carry. Convener, back to you.
Thank you. So from our report, section 4.3, and the deliverance, section 6 to 8, here we're looking at the International Presbytery Overture and restricted certificates of eligibility. Following an instruction from the 2019 General Assembly, we bring revisions that allow a new process for gaining a restricted certificate for a specific appointment within the International Presbytery. This would allow a minister retaining status in their own denomination to apply and subsequently be introduced as minister of a charge in the International Presbytery for 3 years, extendable on further application to 6 years. For the avoidance of doubt, the applicant would not be able to apply for any other charge or appointment under this restricted certificate. The key difference between a certificate of eligibility and a restricted certificate of eligibility is that there is no familiarised placement in Scotland. However, familiarisation with Church of Scotland law, polity and history is still required. So we're bringing 3 sections here. Section 6, amendments to the Admission and Readmission of Ministers Act. Section 7, the Discipline Act. And Section 8 deals with a new regulation in order to allow the International Presbytery to exercise its responsibility in oversight of such applicants and ministers.
Thank you, Convener. I think I'm up to speed with you this time. We're dealing with 6, 7 and 8. I want to say that I'm being told that some of you are finding that your screens are not refreshing quickly enough and therefore that you're not able to vote on a certain section. So although it may seem ponderous to others of you whose machines are whirring, I am being asked to take a little longer and allow a little more time for voting so that everyone can participate as they want to. Number 6. I'm waiting. If anyone would like to speak, press your request to speak button and I will invite you so to do. This is on 6. I have no notices, and so we open the vote on number 6. I was going to declare it to be carried, but I just said I would wait a little minute or two longer. The numbers indicate that it's going to carry anyway, but I do want everyone to be able to participate. 6, overwhelmingly carried. 7. The vote's open. Again, numbers are sufficient to allow me to declare it to be carried. And number 8, the final part of this group of sections. 8. Voting is open. I'm hoping your screens are refreshing back home and that you've been able to vote. Number 8 is carried. Convener.
Thank you. We're now looking at the report, section 4.4, and the deliverance, sections 9 and 10. vacant charges and applicants from out with the European Economic Area and Switzerland. Section 27 of the Vacancy Procedure Act currently stipulates that vacant congregations seeking to consider applicants with a certificate of eligibility or a temporary certificate of eligibility from out with the EEA in Switzerland must wait 6 months and consider eligible applicants before they can consider those from out with the EEA and Switzerland. The United Kingdom has left the European Union, and new rules for the new UK-EU relationship will come into operation on the 1st of January 2021. We've been advised that there will no longer be a requirement for vacant congregations to fulfil the resident labour market test. So Section 9 allows necessary changes to be made to the Vacancy Procedure Act, and Section 10 changes to the Admission and Readmissions Act.
Thank you, Convener. Section 9, questions or discussion? I have no notices, and so I declare the vote to be open on 9. I declare 9 to carry. 10. Voting open. I declare the vote to carry, but please do keep communicating and letting us know how things are going at your end and if there is sufficient time. Convener.
So the report, section 5.3, deliverance, sections 11 to 13, annual candidate appraisal. Following consultation, we are proposing a change to the process by which our candidates are appraised that will build on existing partnerships with presbyteries and enable robust, consistent and fair appraisal. The main change in the process is that a presbytery rep will no longer be at the initial course meeting, which is purely an information sharing meeting. Kay Cathcart, our Education and Training Secretary, speaks very appreciatively of the quality of relationship with our presbytery assessors, most particularly over these past 6 months when everything has moved online. So these are just to make amendments, firstly in section 11 to the Training for Full-Time Ministry Act, in section 12 to the Ordained Local Ministry Act, and 13 the Readership Act.
Thank you, Convener. I think I'm right in saying we're at number 11.
Yeah.
11, I have notice from the Reverend Strachan, 508. Monique, from Monique by Dundee. Reverend Strachan, when you are called forward, please announce your name and number, unmute yourself, and you are free to speak. You can unmute yourself and you're good to go. Thank you.
Moderator 508 Strachan. I actually indicate a desire to speak on number 14 and not on this section.
Okay, thank you. My mistake. I wonder if it's just as well for you to stay there if there's nothing coming in response to any of the earlier ones, but if not, we will put you back I've got a notice here to speak on number 4, the Reverend Hamilton 296. Now, number 4 has been and gone as far as I am aware. Okay.
Moderator, can I just say that section 14 we're not taking until tomorrow?
Oh, correct. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Strachan, Reverend Strachan, 14 is being dealt with tomorrow, the convener has reminded us. So now that you know the process of how to get into the room, you'll be good to go tomorrow morning, or tomorrow when we come back to this subject. If you would stand down for now. Thank you. I'm being told folks are struggling to find Reverend Hamilton. The problem being that we have dealt with the subject. It may be that Alan, I think it is, was trying to get in earlier and was not able, and so I'm prepared to hear that if that was the case. Would you raise your hand, Alan, on Zoom? If it is Alan, Reverend Hamilton 296. Can you raise your hand so that we can identify you? Right, we have you now, and you're being brought forward to the front.
Moderator.
Thank you. You'll need to persuade me that you were trying to get in earlier at the time, given that we have passed. But given that we're all new to this system, then we're prepared to hear what you have to say.
Moderator, I clicked the wrong number. I should have clicked 11,
Okay.
which is the one we're talking about.
In that case, you are very welcome to speak now in relation to section 11. Thank you.
So apologies, Robbie Hamilton. I've forgotten my number, but it's Airdrie, the New Whale Wind. And it's in relation to training of candidates. And I felt this was the appropriate time to ask this question, given that we're living in different times and that congregations are at different stages in opening up for in-person worship and opening up in different ways. The question is, how is the Faith Nurture Forum ensuring that candidates and probationers are being placed where they can get the widest experience of ministry, especially with worship, given that some congregations who may be taking a candidate might not actually be open for worship at all. In the past, it was a rigorous process of matching an individual with a congregation. How rigorous is it now?
Thank you. It's a question to the convener. Convener.
Moderator, I can confirm it's still a very rigorous process. I can also say that a lot of time has been spent by our Education and Training Department liaising with our candidates and with supervisors to ensure that in these, the strangest of times, they are getting the best possible training for ministry. We are all learning in this time. We're all learning all sorts of things. And so our candidates, I can assure you, are being given the broadest possible opportunities at this time.
Thank you. I have no other notices of people wanting to speak, and so I'll ask for the vote to be opened on number 11. I declare 11 to be carried. 12. The vote is open on 12. 12 is carried. And finally, in this section, 13, number 13 of the deliverance.
With an amendment.
We have an amendment in the name of Mr. Douglas Allen, 378. Can I ask that Mr. Allen be promoted to the front?
Again, convener, moderator, if the commissioners were to go to the actual report on the left-hand column, they would see the amendment, and it's a pink button now beside Mr. Allen's name. They can see the text there.
Thank you, Clerk. So we're just waiting for Mr. Allen to be here. He is now. So, Mr. Allen, name and number, please, and then can you bring your proposed amendment to us?
Thank you, Moderator. 378, Douglas Allen. I'm grateful to the committee for this opportunity to present this amendment. It simply inserts an additional level of care for those readers who might find themselves in circumstances where they can't participate in the process as it was originally described. I simply want to give these readers who may have good cause not to be able to attend presbytery meetings to be able to give account as to their circumstance, so that we don't accidentally lose readers from our contingent within our presbytery. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Is there a seconder to this proposed amendment? I see that it is seconded. I'm looking to the convener for an indication of her willingness to accept or otherwise.
The convener is happy to accept. I think it puts down in print what we hope would be happening in practice, but that just makes sure that it's done. So thank you.
Thank you. The convener is willing to accept. Is the General Assembly ready to accept? I'll declare the vote to be open on the amendment, on the proposed...
I should probably read it, Moderator, for the record.
Thank you, Clerk.
Forgive me. I need to be taller or get better glasses. Shorter and we get better glasses. At the end of section 13 add, but subject to the following amendment to Appendix 10, delete the existing section 6F and substitute, reader shall be advised by presbytery that the risk being removed from its role of readers if they do not, without good cause, appear before presbytery as referred to in subsection 6E above. In the event of a reader not attending presbytery without a good cause for 2 consecutive years, they should be invited to engage in a supportive conversation to ascertain reasons. In the event that this does not result in a positive outcome within 6 months, the reader will be removed from the role and advised accordingly. And again, Moderator, we'd hope to get this as a new screen in the voting page. If you click current live debate.
So it is there. If you do as the clerk indicates, current live debate, you will find the proposed amendment right before you. I've no indication of MD wanting to speak to it. Is the Assembly willing to accept it? Voting is open. I declare the vote to have carried. So we go back to 13 now as amended. I'll ask it to be made live for voting. We accepted the amendment, and now 13 as amended. So I declare it to be carried. Thank you. Thank you, Convener. I will hear more from you, of course, tomorrow. But for now, thank you.
Thank you.